I absolutely love my Steam Deck. It's my favorite gaming device that I've ever owned, but while it is portable in the strictest definition of the word, it's not exactly pocketable. And that's where the good people over at Abernic came through and they sent me this. This is the Abernic RG35XX, and it is an emulating beast. It can emulate PS1 games, arcade games, Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy Color, regular Game Boy. The list goes on, I'll put it up on screen, but it can emulate a bunch of stuff, and probably better than that, as you can tell, it's actually pocketable. This would fit in your pockets, you know, if your regular smartphone fits in it, then this will probably fit too. It's not that much bigger than a regular smartphone. Obviously, it's less capable of emulation than the Steam Deck, but for this size, you can't really complain. Let's go over real quick the ports before we get started. It's got a mini HDMI port on the top. On this side, those are the volume rockers up and down. On the bottom, it has a USB Type-C port for charging, and it has a headphone jack. And then on the side, it has two micro SD slots. One of them is populated from the factory, and that's got a bunch of pre-installed emulation games on it. And then you have your power, and that looks like a reset button. I'm not familiar with that. It has an R on it, but what's cool is that you have an extra micro SD slot. I kind of wish the Steam Deck would do that so you could fit two. That'd be actually pretty cool. And on the back, you've got your triggers, R1, R2, L2, L1, and there you go. They're all the buttons that you got. And so let's boot this thing up and see how it works. You hit the power button. There we go. We're booting it up, Abernic. And one thing I was impressed with from the factory, it comes with a screen protector, which you can then install, which I kind of ruined it, and I have a little bubble up there, which is going to drive me crazy, but let's just not talk about it. And now we are in. Listen, oh, I like those little sound effects. Listen to this. Cute. All right, let's see game rooms. Now, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I'm aware with emulation, emulation is legal as long as you're emulating games that you own. So I want to be really clear about that. I am only going to play games that I own. And so I own a PlayStation 1. And so let's go into PlayStation 1. But first, let's look at all the other ones. You've got Vertical Arcade. Oh man, you've got a bunch of them. And each one of these has a bunch of games in it. So let's go PS1 games. Now let's look. Now oh man, I've played Crash Bash so much and Crash Bandicoot so much. That's crazy. This is a nostalgia trip. So let's just go into one of these and just see how it runs. So you just hit OK, and right from the get-go, the screen, first of all, is really nice. It's like, I think because I used to have a Game Boy Color when I was a kid, and I played like a shit ton of games on the Game Boy Color. I remember at the time the Game Boy Color was like the thing for the screen, but looking at just this screen looks incredibly vibrant. Judging this against the Game Boy Color screen is obviously not fair. Here, let me turn this down a little bit. But man, this screen is vibrant, it is punchy. Oh man, it looks really good. And the other thing that right off the bat is surprising me is just how good the speakers sound. I'm not sure how well this is coming across off camera, but let me move it closer to the mic so you can hear. It sounds totally great. Fun. All right, so I'm gonna turn the sound down just so we can have good sound for the video. But man, already this screen looks fantastic. The colors look good. I'm kind of blown away. And just like the amount of screen you're getting for the size is pretty cool. So let's just try and play. Let's just try and play something. One player, yeah. We'll be tiny. Character selection says a lot about you as a human, just so you know. And I am insecure about how large I am. And just like that, we're booting into Crash Bash. I mean, so simple, so fast. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. Looks like it works great. Let's just go back into the menu. We'll hit that, we'll exit game, and let's just try a different game just to test it out. How about, I'm gonna pick another game that I own. Oh, this is a trip down memory lane. I haven't thought about this game in years, but I used to play the shit out of it. The PlayStation 1 was also my first console/gaming device that I I ever owned. I got it actually before my Game Boy, even though I think it came out after, but don't quote me on that. But I played it a lot. Wow. Oh yeah, this is the one where you get chased by the cops, or maybe you can be the cops. I forget, but man, this is cool. And again, like I said, it's cool to emulate, and you can totally emulate things on the Steam Deck too, but it's kind of cool just how tiny. I mean, just for a comparison on the Steam Deck, this takes up about, you know, a tiny portion of the screen. Yeah, that's pretty neat. It's about the height of it's like exactly the height of the Steam Deck, but it's maybe the size of like the right controller or something like that. So, all right, this is so wild. It's crazy to me. I mean, I know the PlayStation 1 is really old and technology has come so far, but it's just cool to me to say like, hey, now in the palm of your hands, you can have, you know, what looks kind of like a Game Boy Color, but has so much more capability. I should say I'm pretty new to the whole handheld gaming community. The Steam Deck is my first modern one. I had a Game Boy Color, and I had a Game Boy, or a Nintendo 3DS. Oh, I'm going. All right, I gotta figure out the controls. That's rear view. Oh, that's the go button. Whoa. And just like that, and let's see, rear view, yep. Whoa. Oh, I'm not gonna make it. Yeah, you might need brakes. But yeah, it works totally great. I'll exit out of that. This is so cool. So I'll say again, does this compete with the Steam Deck? No, I would say it's in a totally different category, but because of its form factor, it actually has a lot of, like, I could see myself throwing this in my pocket and then just taking it places that I probably wouldn't take the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck is just a bit too big. This is really cool. I'm actually super impressed with this tiny little device. Yeah, I'll leave a link to it down below if you guys want to check it out. Again, they did send this over to me for review, but I'm not being paid for my review, and they have no editorial say over this video. So this is all my actual thoughts. I would say, yeah, this is pretty fun. And let me check the price, because if it's, depending on its price, it might be better or worse. It's $56. So, you know, that's pretty cheap. I'd say for a little over 50 bucks, this could be a fun little device to carry around with you to, you know, if you have some kids, this would be good for kids. It feels tanky and plastic, and they're probably not gonna break it, or if they do break it, well, it's 50 bucks, it's not so bad. But also with the screen protector coming in the box, that's pretty clutch. So they can at least crack that once. This thing's cool. It's really cool. So, all right, if you guys have any questions about it, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them. That's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Peace.